I'm standing in front of the timeline which, if you're watching this video report at our gathering, is set up in the Bethel Church foyer. It's a timeline of some significant MCM events, including when each of our current churches joined our community of congregations. We're inviting folks at gathering to take a sticky note and add to the timeline important events in your congregation, perhaps, or even when you yourself joined your church or were baptized. It's instructive to look over this timeline. For example, some people think the blue hymnal has always been the hymnal for us. Nope, here it is, 1992. And the red hymnal before it? Nope, 1969. Our new purple hymnal is right in line with that pattern, here in 2020. Maybe the Confession of Faith in a Mennonite perspective. Nope, that was brand spanking new in 1995. And though we don't have this on the timeline, that confession replaced a previous confession of faith for the Mennonite General Conference in 1963, which in turn had replaced one from 1921. We tend to think of each of these things as always having been there, or at least as something obvious and uncontroversial. But each of these things was a new thing at one time, doing something that hadn't been done before or that had been done differently before. And each of these things involved some risk, in some cases some controversy, and in every instance, much faith. These were some of the new things that God did among us in the past. What new things does God want to do among us now and in the future? The MCM board has tried to capture some of an answer to that in the proposed new vision and mission statement for MCM, which we are reflecting on and processing together at our gathering. That new vision and mission statement comes after a 2-year process of listening to what God is doing among us and in our congregations. But a vision and mission statement can't capture everything new that God is doing among us and that God still wants to do among us. God is prompting many of us as congregations to connect into our neighborhoods in fresh ways, serving our neighbors, loving our neighbors as ourselves. God is stirring among our youth and young adults, drawing them together in retreats and in other ways here in Manitoba and across Canada. God is prodding many of our congregations to step into reconciliation with Indigenous peoples in new ways, exploring reparations and land-back possibilities. God is calling a new cohort of pastors among us, a younger cohort from diverse backgrounds and experiences, broadening the pastoral gifts across our community of congregations. God is inspiring more congregations to engage in creation care and climate action in various ways, especially as we see firsthand the effects of climate change here in Manitoba. God is sparking renovation and renewal at Camp Assiniboia and Camp Koinonia as our Light the Fire Capital campaign begins to bear fruit in projects on the ground. God is poking us to rethink what our Mennoniteness means, expanding the possibilities to include a broader spectrum of cultures. And God is drawing congregations into a deeper experience of God, renewing our worship, our faith formation, our theological focus centered on Jesus. God is doing all this and more among us, in each of our congregations, in us as a community of congregations, and across Canada as a nationwide church. What new things is God doing among you, in your congregation, in your own life? I hope you enjoy the rest of the video reports which follow. All this work we do as staff is your work. It's an extension of your ministries as congregations, supporting your ministries and expanding them to Manitoba, across Canada, and around the world. May we together step into God's next new thing. Now let's see. 2013, when I joined Morden Mennonite Church.